I'm Wes Polly, and this is a special edition of your feature interview. I have Jay Webb with me on the set. I'm doing this interview because Jay is my fraternity brother, and he is our guest today because Emory and Henry College has named him the A.L. Mitchell Outstanding Young Alumnus for 2013. Welcome, Jay.
Thank you very much, Wes. Appreciate it.
It's great to have you on the set.
It's great to be on the set.
And this award is given to an alumnus who has had great, outstanding performance in the professional world 15 years after they've been out of college. Tell me a little bit about what you did, 15 years after graduation to get this point.
Well, I'll tell you, I just barely made the cut. I've been out about 14 years, so one more year I'm not eligible. But very honored by the award, of course, named after Al Mitchell, who was over my fraternity, Beta Lambda Zeta, and you're one of my brothers. So it's an honor to be here with you today. I've done a lot, thanks to Emory and Henry and the communications department. I have been able to go from a producer at WCYB in Bristol to a weekend meteorologist at WHSV in Harrisonburg. After doing that for about a year and a half, I was promoted to Monday through Friday, the morning and the noon show. I always had my sights on working at WDBJ-7, the CBS affiliate in Roanoke, Virginia. And after several years of working in Bristol and Harrisonburg, I was able to make that dream come true about 6.5, almost 7 years ago. And during that time, I've been very fortunate. I have worked hard, but I've been very fortunate to receive awards like the one I got at Emory and Henry today, the Emmy Award a couple years ago, I think 2008.
Oh, of course. And speaking of the Emmy Award, I'd like to know what the events were leading up to that and how did you get to that point?
Yeah, well, just go in and do the best job you can do every day. When my news director called me in and said that I wasn't just nominated for an Emmy, but we won an Emmy, it knocked my socks off, and still to this day I'm just kind of like, I just went in, just did the best job I could. I do every broadcast, I approach every broadcast the same way. Just go in, try to do your best job. We had severe weather that day. We were supposed to have the president fly into the Roanoke Regional Airport, and that flight was delayed. It canceled a bunch of stuff. We had fires that developed, and it was a messy day weather-wise. So, you just go in and do the best you can possibly do.
Well, what prepared you best for both awards? I mean, even starting back from your time here at Emory and Henry, what do you think were the things that stayed in your mind long enough to get you to that point?
A lot of, beginning with the classes here at Emory and Henry, just a solid concrete foundation to get you off and running. Dr. Keller would oftentimes send us down to WCYB where we would have tours of the station, get to meet the station brass, if you will, and that one thing led to another. So, I feel very fortunate to have come to school here. It's the only school I ever wanted to go to, I will tell you that. I knew a long time before I started going to college here in 1995, I wanted to go to Emory and Henry. And taking that first mass comm class back in 1995, 96, that's what kind of solidified that this is the profession I want to continue in.
Well, obviously Emory and Henry has prepared you, but also you went to Mississippi State to get your meteorologist certification. What was the process that you went through? How many years did you have to go through, and what kind of classes and things did you have to take?
All kinds of boring stuff like thermodynamics and climatology and oceanography and all kinds of stuff that we really can't use on TV because that would bore the viewers to death. Mississippi State was great. I got my communications degree here at Emory and Henry, and then the broadcasting, the meteorology, like you said, at Mississippi State. My job is both worlds. My job is meteorology, but it's also communications. You can have the best forecast in the world, but if I can't get on camera and convey what the forecast is going to be, then it's of no use to anybody. So I rely heavily on my meteorology skills that I got through Mississippi State, but I think I rely more so on the communication skills because meteorology does me well at work. Communication does a lot for me outside of work. You have to be able to communicate, with a police officer that pulls you over for speeding too fast through the school zone or something. Not that I'm suggesting that you do that. I'm just saying, communication really opens a lot of doors for you.
Well, and when you were first getting your start in meteorology, was there one person that kind of reached out to you or kind of mentored you that kind of, helped you move along, that gave you some great advice?
Meteorology, yeah. Dave Dirks down at WCYB in Bristol. I remember meeting Dave that first time, and he definitely took me under his wing. I still keep up with Dave. Talked to him just 2 or 3 days ago. He still continues to counsel me and give me good advice on things. And I've had many great meteorologists that I've worked with or underneath, and they've all helped me quite a bit. Because when you graduate from college, Emory and Henry or somewhere else, you still have a lot of learning to do. Learning is a lifelong process, so it doesn't stop with your diploma.
Right. And switching gears a little bit, going back to your fraternity here on campus, I'm also
I don't think I can talk too much about that.
in Beta Lambda Zeta, but you said it was an honor to be associated with this award that was named after Mr. Mitchell, and also Scott Sykes, your big brother, as he mentioned in the Founders Day ceremony, that he actually gave or presented the award to you. What were your feelings? Did you think that it was more meaningful that it happened that way, and it was associated with your fraternity and people that you were associated with on campus at that time?
Absolutely. First of all, I didn't know Scott was presenting. We talked about it an hour before the presentation today, and he said that he was presenting the award to me, and I said, "Oh, really? I didn't know that." He goes, "Yeah, that's why I'm here." So I didn't even know that leading up to it. But as far as Al Mitchell, anybody that knew Al Mitchell knew that he was like your dad away from your dad, your grandfather away from your grandfather. He took everybody under his wing, and you didn't have to be a member of Beta Lambda Zeta. You just had to be a member of the Emory and Henry community. And so, it meant a whole lot to me to receive this award today at this college and the school that I love so much, but even more that his name was on it.
And obviously you've got a family outside of your Emory and Henry family. Tell me a little bit about your family. I don't know a whole lot about them.
Yeah. Well, I'm married. Met my wife, Sarah, here on campus. When I was going to school here, we got married here. I told you offset a minute ago that before we went on the air that it's a good thing that the dorms here are co-ed now, because they weren't back in those days. But I met my wife here. She's a school teacher. We've been married 13 years, got married. This place means so much to us. We got married here several years ago, 11 years ago. And we've got 2 great kids, Parker, who's in 1st grade, and Mackenzie, who's about 2.5 years old.
Well, I mean, you're so young, and you've won these 2 awards. Early in your life, a lot of people, may not win an Emmy for, years and years until they're, near the end of their career. I mean, what's next for you? You've won these 2 awards. There's a whole lot of room for improvement, I guess.
I guess you can always learn. There's always stuff to do. There's always new mountains to climb, I guess. We work in a very fast-paced industry. Things are changing because of the internet, Facebook, social media, Twitter, et cetera, et cetera. So again, you always got to stay on top of it.
Well, we thank you for
Thanks, Wes.
Thank you for coming on the set with us today.
Thanks, bud.
And we really appreciate you. Thank you for being on the set again. And up next is your Out and About. This is Emory and Henry Reports.